The more I pay attention to my life, the more I realize dopamine is running everything, and not in a good way. Dopamine isn't pleasure like people think. It's anticipation. It's the chase. It's that little feeling of something good might happen if I keep going. And the problem is, we've trained our brains to expect that feeling constantly. Every scroll, every notification, every message, every like, every new video, tiny hits, all day. I wake up and my brain already wants stimulation. Not peace, not clarity, stimulation. That should have been my first red flag. I don't think our brains were built for this pace. I notice it when I try to do normal things. Reading feels boring. Silence feels uncomfortable. Long-term goals feel distant and pointless. Not because they are, but because they don't give instant feedback. No quick hit. Dopamine has made patience feel painful. I'll sit down to work and my brain immediately starts bargaining. Let's just check one thing first. One video. One scroll. And once I give in, the task is already harder. Because now my brain wants more. That's how dopamine works. It raises the baseline. What used to feel exciting starts feeling normal. So you need more stimulation just to feel okay. That's why everything feels dull. It's not that life is boring. It's that our reward system is fried. I also think dopamine messes with motivation in a sneaky way. People think dopamine gives motivation. I think too much dopamine kills it. Because when your brain gets rewarded easily, it doesn't want to work for anything. Why struggle for progress when you can scroll and feel something instantly? Why sit with discomfort when you can distract yourself? So we avoid. We avoid boredom, we avoid effort, we avoid stillness, and those are the exact places where growth usually happens. I've noticed how this affects my emotions too. I feel more restless than before, less satisfied. Even good moments feel short, like I'm already looking for the next thing instead of being present. And that's scary. Because if your brain is always chasing the next hit, nothing ever feels like enough. Not success, not relationships, not peace. Just more stimulation. I don't think dopamine is evil. I think we've abused it. We've turned our brains into slot machines. Pull the lever, refresh, scroll, hope for something interesting. Over and over. And now when nothing happens, we feel empty. That's where I'm at with this. Not blaming technology, not blaming society, just noticing that my brain is addicted to anticipation more than fulfillment. And I don't know yet how to fix it. I just know something's off. I think the biggest lie we're told is that we're lazy. That if we just tried harder, everything would click. But when I look at my own life, it doesn't feel like laziness. It feels like my brain is exhausted from being overstimulated. Dopamine has trained me to expect rewards before effort. And real life doesn't work like that. Real progress is slow, quiet, boring most of the time. There's no notification for consistency, no instant feedback for discipline. So my brain resists it. I'll plan to do something productive and feel this weird internal friction. Not fear, not stress, just resistance. Like my brain is saying, why would we do this when there's an easier hit available? And that hit is always nearby. Phone, apps, videos, endless content. It's like carrying a dopamine vending machine in your pocket. I've noticed that even my goals feel different now. I still want things, success, stability, peace. But wanting doesn't translate into action the way it used to. Because action feels flat. There's no rush, no novelty. And dopamine loves novelty. That's why starting things feels easier than finishing them. New idea? Exciting. New plan? Motivating. New routine? Feels fresh. But once the novelty wears off, my brain loses interest. Not because it's hard, but because it's no longer stimulating. That's where discipline is supposed to step in. But discipline needs a brain that can tolerate discomfort. And dopamine addiction makes discomfort unbearable. Even 5 minutes of boredom feels like too much. So I avoid. I procrastinate. I distract myself and call it a break. But it's not rest. It's escape. I think this is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they don't know what to do, but because their brains are hijacked. We're constantly rewarding ourselves without earning it. So effort feels pointless. And the longer this goes on, the harder it is to reverse, because your baseline shifts. What used to feel normal now feels dull. What used to be enjoyable now feels slow. And when life slows down, you feel empty. That emptiness is dangerous because it pushes you to chase bigger hits, more scrolling, more content, more stimulation. It's not just phones either. Porn, sugar, gaming, drama, even overworking. Anything that gives quick reward without depth. I don't think most of us are addicted to one thing. I think we're addicted to relief. Relief from boredom. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from ourselves. And dopamine is the shortcut. The scary part is you don't realize how much it's affecting you until you try to sit still. No phone, no music, no background noise, just you. That's when the discomfort hits. Restlessness, anxiety, urge to check something. That's not normal human emotion. That's withdrawal. And realizing that was uncomfortable for me. Because it meant the problem wasn't motivation. It was conditioning. I don't have a clean fix for this yet. I'm still figuring out how to rebuild tolerance for boredom, for effort, for slow progress. All I know is if I don't change something, I'll keep wanting more and feeling less. And that doesn't feel like a life. I'm not talking about dopamine like an expert. I'm talking as someone who feels off and is trying to understand why. So I really want to know if this sounds familiar to you. Do you ever feel like your motivation disappeared, but you don't know where it went? Like you still care about your future, but doing anything about it feels harder than it should? Do you ever sit down to focus and feel this pressure in your chest to check something? Not because you need to, but because your brain wants relief. Do you notice how silence feels heavier now than it used to? How boredom feels almost painful? How even good things don't hold your attention for long? I'm also curious what dopamine looks like in your life. Is it your phone, social media, short videos, gaming, porn, food, drama? Or is it all of it mixed together? Do you ever feel like you're constantly consuming but rarely satisfied? Like you're always waiting for the next thing to make you feel something? And if you've tried to change it, what actually happened? Did you get bored fast? Anxious? Irritated? Did you cave and go back because the discomfort felt too real? Because that's the part people don't talk about. It's not hard to quit stimulation for a day. It's hard to sit with yourself when there's nothing to distract you. That's when thoughts come up. Feelings. Regret. Uncertainty. And dopamine keeps us running from that. So I'm not asking for perfect answers. I just want to know how many of us feel overstimulated, undermotivated, and kind of numb at the same time. If this hit you, say something. Even if it's just one sentence. Because if a lot of us are dealing with this quietly, maybe the problem isn't us. Maybe it's the way we're living. And I think that conversation matters.